we filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped.
The very man who swooned fans with his music for decades is now accused of sexual assault. But he's not the only one named as a defendant in this shocking lawsuit. I'm Elizabeth Milner with Law and Crime. Smokey Robinson and his wife Frances are accused of negligence, sexual battery, false imprisonment, and hostile work environment. And those are just some of the claims brought against the legendary singer by 4 women who we only know as Jane Does.
The principal causes of action against Mr. Robinson in particular are sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment. Obviously, these ladies are identified in the lawsuit as Does, Jane Does 1 through 4, to protect their privacy, since the lawsuit involves sexual misconduct of the worst sort.
The nearly 30-page complaint was brought against Smokey Robinson and his wife Frances Robinson today in Los Angeles Superior Court.
Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons, earning below minimum wage. As low-wage workers in vulnerable positions, they lack the resources and options necessary to protect themselves from sexual assaults throughout their tenure as employees for the Robinsons. Let me briefly summarize each of their individual claims. I repeat, I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference. But you can read them in the complaints that we have provided with many of you today.
According to the court filing, Jane Doe 1 began working for the Robinsons as their housekeeper from January 3rd of 2023 up until February of 2024. She claimed she was forced to resign because Smokey repeatedly sexually assaulted and sexually harassed her. The first alleged incident happened in March of 2023. Jane Doe says she worked on the weekend for the couple. On a Saturday, the complaint says defendant Smokey Robinson would take defendant Frances Robinson to the nail salon and would rush home, knowing that he would be alone with plaintiff JD1. Or Jane Doe 1. When Smokey came home, he allegedly would call her into his bedroom, lock the door, escort the couple's dog Shiloh out of the room. He showers, then only puts on his underwear, then would neatly place a white towel on his bed in preparation for what was about to occur. The filing goes on to say Smokey would kiss Jane Doe in her mouth, her neck, and breast. Then he would allegedly roughly penetrate her vagina with his fingers, orally copulate her, then penetrate her with his penis, which caused her great pain. The complaint alleges Smokey enjoyed ejaculating in her without using a condom. Jane Doe says she would resist, and in one attempt to stop him, she said, "You're married," and Smokey casually ignored it. The filing says Smokey allegedly sexually assaulted Jane Doe in that same manner at least 7 times, and the last assault occurred on February 17th of 2024, and she resigned the following week. As for Frances Robinson, Jane Doe 1 alleges she failed to take appropriate action to prevent her husband's conduct, despite having full knowledge of his alleged prior acts of sexual misconduct. According to the filing, he settled cases with other women that have suffered and experienced similar sexual assaults perpetrated by him. Jane Doe 1 also claims Frances perpetuated a hostile work environment by regularly screaming at Jane Doe 1. As for Jane Doe 2, she worked for the couple from May of 2014 until February of 2020 and only resigned for the same reasons as Jane Doe 1. Jane Doe 2 claims that Smokey sexually assaulted her in the later part of 2016 when they were home alone together. Smokey allegedly texted her asking her to meet him at his home in Chatsworth, which according to the complaint was without closed-circuit cameras. He allegedly summoned Jane Doe 2 to the laundry room or garage where the cameras weren't there. He would grab her and begin penetrating her with his fingers, and then he would allegedly rape her. The filing says Smokey allegedly sexually assaulted Jane Doe 2 23 different times and would humiliate her. He also allegedly didn't use a condom with her either. And if she refused, Smokey allegedly would make his wife be mean to her. Jane Doe 2, like Jane Doe 1, says she was unwilling to report due to fear of losing her livelihood, public embarrassment, effects on her immigration status, and because Smokey was a well-known celeb with influential friends and associates. Jane Doe 3 allegations are very similar. She worked from Smokey from February of 2012 until April of 2024. He would allegedly do the same bedroom ritual, including showering, placing a towel on his bed, then would allegedly force Jane Doe 3 to lie face down on the towel and then would penetrate her. The complaint alleges Smokey Robinson raped Jane Doe 3 in the same manner at least 20 times. On one occasion, Jane Doe 3 allegedly resisted the singer, and Smokey allegedly offered her $500 to allow him to orally copulate her, which she refused. She claims she resigned from her job in April of 2024 after his alleged sexual assault and hostile work environment was experienced daily. And she says that Francis allegedly perpetrated the hostile work environment by regularly screaming at her and saying ethnic slurs to her, something that Jane Doe 1 and 2 also claim happened to them. As for Jane Doe 4, she was also a longtime housekeeper for the singer, working from him from October of 2006 to April of 2024. She also worked as a personal assistant, cook, and hairdresser for Smokey's wife, Frances. Jane Doe 4 claims the first sexual assault happened in 2007 when she accompanied Smokey to his Las Vegas home. When the two were alone together, he allegedly forced her into the bedroom and raped her. Another incident in the filing says around mid-2019, Jane Doe 4 was cleaning the primary bedroom. Smokey showered and returned to the bedroom while naked and erect. He allegedly did the same method that he allegedly did with Jane Doe's 1, 2, and 3, pulling back the sheets, laying the towel down, and began kissing her breasts and neck, then allegedly raped her too. According to the filing, Smokey's alleged sexual harassment and assault continued until the very day she decided to resign. The filing says Smokey's wife Frances also regularly screamed at Jane Doe 4 in a hostile manner and used ethnic slurs against her.
The obvious question that one will ask, and I suspect...
Wow. That's how I got to start this. Wow. Negro News. How y'all doing? I'm Joseph Ward. Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you all for all what you do for your children, for your neighborhoods, for your communities, pouring into the communities, pouring into the children, empowering everybody. Thank you to all the mothers out there who holding it down. Negro News here. Got 3 stories today. Of course, as you can see, we're starting off with the allegations against Smokey Robinson. As Anika Corbett has already said, yes, he has himself in a mess. Like Smokey out here, like in something crazy. Like this is wild. So the first story is Smokey Robinson with these allegations against him. 4 women who were housekeepers of his, Hispanic women who were housekeepers of his, has accused him of sexual assault. That's the first story. The second story is something I saw on social media that it made me mad. It pissed me off. It made me mad. So I was like, we need to talk about this. We got to break this down. There's a story going viral out of Seattle, Washington, where this black man who lived in an apartment building was trying to get to his apartment and was restrained and choked by one of the fellow residents in the building. So we're going to get into that. And then the last story is the story of Sinatra Jordan. I don't know if this has gone like out there in the atmosphere somehow. I'm not sure how far the story is gone, but this is a story about a young man named Sinatra Jordan in Mississippi who was jailed. No, he was shot at first by the police, shot at, arrested, and jailed, and they didn't tell him what was going on and just released him and dropped all the charges and everything. And he spent over 2 years in jail. So we're going to get to that because, you know, the theme of this video is the dominant society, white supremacists doing their best to remind us how dominant they are. Now, the Smokey Robinson story may not necessarily be a part of this, depending on what the actual real details of the story are. But I think what's going on with Smokey is wild. Like this man is like Smokey is in his late 70s and his 80s, and he's been accused of sexual assault by 4 women. One of the women said he SA'd her 23 different times. 23 different times. And they're also saying that his wife is involved in it because she knew what was going on. She helped facilitate some of the acts, and she was even hostile and mean toward the house workers. And this is just crazy because, once again, y'all already know how I feel about it. You already know how I feel about it. If this is true, Smokey Robinson, yeah, he's a predator. If it's true, he's a predator. If it's not true, then you have trumped up charges against another black man, and that's messed up. Now, there's many different ways you can look at this, many different angles, many different ways you can look at this, because Smokey Robinson is a part of that Hollywood atmosphere. And we know how Hollywood people get down. They are weird. Hollywood people are weird. We all know this. We've heard the stories. We've seen all the stuff. We see what's going on with Diddy, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, all the people throughout the years. We already know these Hollywood people are weird. We know this. And on the other hand, we already know that there is a history of the assassination of the black male character, the assassination of the black man, his life period. But the black man has been denigrated in America since we got here. They had to weaken the black man. They had to denigrate the black man. They had to take the black man out. So the black man cannot be an opponent to white supremacy. And with the black man out the way, once again, the women and the children are more vulnerable. But before I get deep up in there, remember, like this video, comment, subscribe, share this video. Like this video, comment, subscribe, and share. Make sure other people can see this content. Other people can get in on this Negro news that we got going on. And remember, Joe Biden told me to tell you that if you don't hit that like button, then you ain't African American. If you want to still be African American, hit that like button. That's what Joe Biden told me to tell you. If you don't like that, you got to take that up with Joe Biden. But anyway, back to Smokey. Smokey Robinson is a legendary, historic Motown singer. My favorite Smokey Robinson song is that Cruising Together. That song is smoother than the mug. That's that Cruising Together, right? But I don't believe if any of this information is true, that's not going to be able to save him. But like this late in his life, this is happening. Now, another eyebrow raising thing about these cases with these Jane Does is these are civil cases. So they're suing him for $50 million. So let me read you a little bit. Let me read a little bit from this article that I have right in front of me, right? Singer Smokey Robinson is being accused of sexual battery, assault, and creating a hostile work environment, and lawsuit filed by lawyers representing 4 of his former housekeepers on Tuesday. The 4 women, all of whom are listed as Jane Does, nobody has listed their names. Jane Does are accusing the Motown artist of unwanted acts towards them. Robinson's wife, Frances Robinson, and when you seen in the video, they kept mentioning Frances. And I just want to say this. Him and his wife do look weird. I'm not saying Smokey Robinson is guilty. I'm not going to say that. I don't have any evidence to say that he's innocent or guilty. I'm going to just try to give information on both sides to give a clear perspective on this whole situation. But I will say he and his wife do look a little weird. I am going to say that. But Frances Robinson is also listed as a defendant in the lawsuit, right? Calling the allegation simply an ugly method of trying to extract money from an 85-year-old American icon. Christopher Frost, the attorney of Smokey and Frances Robinson, in a statement on Wednesday, we will be asking the court to dismiss the lawsuit, right? As the case progresses, the evidence will show that it is simply an ugly method of trying to extract money from an 85-year-old American icon for $50 million to be exact, Frost wrote. Is this a money grab? Is this another case of somebody lying on somebody for a money grab to try to get either, because none of these cases really actually go to court. They always get settled. These cases always get settled, especially these civil suits. Now, one of the questions that, one of the thoughts that ran through my mind, because as you know, I worked in sexual violence prevention for a while. And I've taught people how to help themselves if they are assaulted, right? So because I'm listening to the details of the case, and they're talking about how Smokey, when he was allegedly preying on one of those women, after penetrating her, he would ejaculate inside of her. Now, one of the thoughts ran through my head is, what was the time frame between that happening and her being able to get away from him and cleanse herself, if she's cleansed herself? And how many times did this happen? Because I do know, and I'm not saying that she was in a position to do this, but I'm just wondering if she actually had the chance to do this, to be able to go to a hospital and state what happened to her, and they can do the R word kit on her, right? I'm wondering if she actually had the opportunity, because the way the lawsuit is being talked about, and the way this guy on the screen, the black lawyer, the way all the evidence is being taught, because it's from one side right now, it's being said that these ladies really didn't have a leg up in this. They didn't feel like they had any power, any way to protect themselves or stand up against Smokey Robinson and his wife, being that he is the icon that he is, and being that these women are low-wage Hispanic workers who probably, because that's the picture that is being painted, that these women have been taken advantage of because of their low status in American society, being immigrants coming over to America and just trying to find work and being underpaid and trying to hang on to what livelihood they do have just to survive, because their wages are so low. And they don't have the power that Smokey Robinson has. So that's the way the lawsuit is being talked about. And if Smokey Robinson actually did this, oh man, his old ass is not exempt. He need his ass whooped too, right? If he actually did this, right? It's eyebrow raising. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I think in this one. Just to be honest, I have no idea what I think about this, because I need more information. It's not a lot of information coming out. I was looking for the lawsuit earlier and I couldn't find the lawsuit. So if any of you all know or have any links to find that lawsuit, let me know. If you've already found it, drop it in the chat so we can access that lawsuit and look at it. But I haven't been able to find the lawsuit because I want to find it. But also, just because I have the lawsuit doesn't mean that the information in the lawsuit is actually true. This is just what's being filed by the defendants, the Jane Does 1 through 4. So let's get back into the video. Let's hear a little more about what this lawyer has to say.
Most will. Why didn't they report Robinson's criminal misconduct to law enforcement or go public before now?
Listen to this.
As I said before, these women were all low wage earners living from paycheck to paycheck. They all feared missing a payday and not being able to pay their rent or buy food for their families. And also, Smokey's Robinson's celebrity status intimidated them and all made them feel powerless.
Right.
I want to add that these 4 women were afraid of shame, familial humiliation, and embarrassment. The stigma that still exists in some cultures that unfortunately blames a rape victim for the assault perpetrated against them. And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment. So throughout their dreadful experiences with Mr. Robinson, all 4 women remained silent because many of them worked at the same time. Too embarrassed to reveal their assaults by Mr. Robinson to each other. Once they broke their silence, an avalanche of emotions began to flow between them. Hence, they're all here today.
In addition to the allegations of rape, sexual harassment,
You do got a point, Anika. You do have a point. Yeah, we us black men do have a lot of work and learning not to keep stepping into the same traps. You are right about that. I mean, I can't lie. It does look like a money grab. I can't lie. It does look like a money grab. And like I said before I played the video, the defense is leaning on he's using his power and influence and control to intimidate them. Now, the dynamic is black male lawyers are representing Hispanic women against a black man. So optics and ignorance mixed together would say, well, he has to be guilty because why would a black man take this suit? But we all know all skin ain't kin. And, you know, no shade to all the lawyers, but, you know, some of these lawyers, I be looking at them sideways when they be taking some of these cases because I be like, it may be a money grab for everybody. But I believe it's that one light-skinned, fake Claude Anderson looking gentleman. And then it's another black dude who I believe is representing the 4 Hispanic women. So, yeah, I mean, we need more evidence because it's like I said earlier, once again, it's not a criminal suit, it's a civil suit, and they're suing for a specific amount of money. They're not suing for justice. They're not saying Smokey Robinson is guilty and justice needs to be served. It's saying Smokey Robinson is guilty and I need to be paid. That don't sound right. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Smokey is guilty. I'm not saying Smokey is innocent. But what I am saying is it don't sound right. And like I said earlier, I'm just trying to look at it from as many different perspectives as possible because I think that's what we should do. I don't think, well, I'm not going to tell nobody else what to think. I'm just saying what I think. I'm going to look at it from as many different perspectives as possible. So let's get into more details of what these Jane Does is talking about. They talked about it in the video, but let's do it ourselves, right? So Jane Doe number one worked for Robinson as a housekeeper at his Chatsworth residence in Los Angeles, California from January 2023 to February of 2024, according to the complaint. The complainant said that Robinson first S.A. Jane Doe 1 in March of 2023, and the assault continued until her forced resignation in February of 2024. So from March of 2023 to February of 2024, almost a whole year. It was almost a whole year that she stayed enduring S.A. allegedly from Smokey Robinson. And this would be a man in his 80s. So Jane Doe number 2 worked as a housekeeper from around May 2014. Oh, this goes back years. So Jane Doe 2 says she worked from May of 2014 to February of 2020 at Robinson's Chatsworth home. The complainant said, and she is accusing Robinson of repeated SA and harassment. And she is accusing his wife, Frances Robinson, for failing to take the appropriate corrective action to prevent her husband's deviant misconduct. Jane Doe number 2 is also accusing Frances Robinson of perpetuating a hostile work environment, which included screaming at her and using ethnically pejorative words and language. All right. So that's what they're saying, right? So Jane Doe number 3, who worked for Robinson as a housekeeper between February of 20. So it goes even back further. So as we get new Jane Does, the years go back even further. So Jane Doe number 3, say worked from February of 2012 and April to April of 2024, and is accusing Robinson of sexual harassment, assault, the R word, the suit said, while accusing Frances Robinson of perpetuating a hostile work environment. So once again, it's a pattern. They're accusing Smokey Robinson of SA and accusing Frances Robinson of perpetuating an unsafe or hostile work environment. Basically like saying Smokey Robinson and his wife are working in tandem to R-word and harass and SA these women. That's the allegations. That's the picture that's being painted. So Jane Doe number 4 was not only a housekeeper for Robinson at his Chatsworth residence from October of 2006. Now, Jane Doe number 4 go back to 2006. And so hold up. So Jane Doe number 4 went from October 2006 to April of 2024. Jane Doe number 3 went from February of 2012 to April of 2024. And Jane Doe number 1 went from 2023 to 2024 to February of 2024. Hold on. Hold on. So they're saying that he had 4 housekeepers, and 3 of these housekeepers resigned around the same time. So they're saying, so are they, because in the lawsuit, it made it look like these women came in succession. But as I'm reading, it seems like there was overlap, and 3 of these women resigned in 2024 within 2 months of each other. Jane Doe number 1 in February of 2024, and Jane Doe's number 3 and number 4 in April of 2024. And then they're saying Jane Doe number 2 resigned in 2020, but Jane Doe's number 1, 3, and 4 resigned in 2024. I see what Vaughn is saying. What's going on, Vaughn? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comment. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button too. Please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, and it helps more people see this content. It helps more people support this content, and it helps this channel and this platform grow. And the more that this grows, the more I get to pour into my community through my On the Shoulders of Giants Black History School and all the work that I do in my community. So thank everybody. I thank you all for y'all continued support. Please hit that like button. Please share this. Please continue tuning in. All right. So Vaughn is saying, I'm not saying it's not true, but how the F you couldn't have stopped the Vaughn. Get out my head, Vaughn. You all in my head, Vaughn. You said it. You all in my head, bro. So how couldn't you have stopped the senior citizen from doing the most? And I think it's about time that these men of color start taking advantage of the audio. And yes. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the first thoughts that I had is Smokey Robinson kind of old. No, Smokey Robinson ain't kind of old. Smokey old, and he old as hell. And Smokey must be on the Blue Chews or something, because the way that they're explaining stuff the way that they're explaining his performance in this, Smokey got to be on these Blue Chews at 80, between 80 and 85 years old, especially like these latest ones. Smokey got to be on these Blue Chews. He might need an endorsement or something if he can get off or whatever. I don't know, but because the way that they're explaining this, they're talking about this like this is like a man in his prime, you know. And so once again, we're not saying he did it. We're not saying he didn't do it. But what we are saying is it sound like some bullshit. It do. It sound like some bullshit. What's going on, Lee? I appreciate you. What's going on? I'm gonna edit a picture you. Okay. Do that. Hook us up. I appreciate that. Do that. Smokey, man. Smokey. Let's get back into it, though. Let's get back into the video, see a little more what they got to talk about.
Harassment and hostile work environment. All 4 Jane Does claimed the Robinsons failed to pay them minimum or overtime wages. They weren't provided rest or lunch breaks or provided wage statements for the hours that were worked. The 4 Jane Does are also suing for intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, gender violence, failure to pay overtime wages, and more. The 4 Jane Does are also seeking damages of no less than $50 million.
Obviously, no amount of money can compensate these women for what Mr. Robinson subjected them to. But given the gravity of Mr. Robinson's despicable and reprehensible misconduct that is further detailed in the complaint, this amount is clearly warranted.
There are so many disturbing and, quite frankly, unsettling allegations mapped out in this complaint. I'm joined now by former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Nima, I was pretty stunned by this complaint, especially because of these graphic details in it. What's your reaction to it?
We're all stunned.
Stunned is the right word, Elizabeth. I couldn't believe it when I read the allegations in the complaint.
Nobody could believe it when they heard this. We like, my first, Smokey Robinson? Like, oh, my first thought was old ass Smokey Robinson being accused of SA? What's going on here? Either we have a good number of predators out there that just out here just getting it in, and once again, Hollywood is an environment for that. We've learned Hollywood is an environment for that. So either it's a whole bunch of predators out here just going crazy, or it's a whole bunch of people who down with lying on people to bring them down for money grabs. Either way is messed up though. Either way, it's showing that our society has definitely degenerated into this what we call civilization, if you want to call it civilization. Now that's funny. They ain't cruising with Smokey no more. They really not cruising with Smokey no more. Oh, I thought I hit play. My bad.
As low-wage workers
I think I went back.
Call her into his bedroom, lock the door, escort Frances Robinson, Jane Doe 1 alleged, summoned Jane Doe 2 to the laundry room where
I went back.
was experienced and neck, then allegedly raped her too. According to
them, and all made them feel powerless. I want to add that these 4 women were afraid of shame, familial humiliation, and embarrassment.
Yeah.
The stigma that still exists in some cultures that unfortunately blames a rape victim for the assault perpetrated against them. And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment. So throughout their dreadful experiences with Mr. Robinson,
I don't know.
all 4 women remained silent because many of them worked at the same time.
Yeah, so he just said it. He said he said they were silent and many of them worked for him at the same time. Because I was like, I'm reading through the information and it seems like at least 3 of them worked for him at the same time. Okay. So he just said it. So at least 3 of them worked for him at the same time. So we need more information. Smokey, it don't look good for you though, bro. I will tell you that, Smoke. It don't look good. That it doesn't sound good. It makes you look bad. But see, the thing about this too is, if these allegations are false and the reputation is ruined, it is difficult, almost impossible to rebuild your reputation after you've been labeled somebody who's a SA predator, right? And we know that label is historically stamped upon Black men here in these United States of America. We know that. We know that. So both of those dynamics are here at play, and we don't know what is true and what's not, but we do know that Smokey Robinson is in some deep, deep, deep doo-doo, deep doo-doo. And it don't sound good. But man, let's push the show forward. We didn't come here to spend a lot of time on Smokey Robinson, but I did want to talk about it because I'm like, what's going on with Smokey is wild. And I wouldn't see, have y'all heard about this that's going on with Smokey Robinson? He out here being accused of SAing 4 women. And I'm like, Smokey got to be on that Blue Chew or something. If what they saying is true, like them, like they like Smokey out here performing, right? So yeah, that's crazy. But all right, so we about to jump into this next story. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Thank you to everybody who is in here. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are in this live. We appreciate your contribution to your households, to your family, to your community, to your society. Thank you for all that you have done. Shout out to my moms, the realest ever. Miss Inez, the realest ever. Shout out to my moms. She's not feeling too good, so y'all make sure y'all give my moms some well wishes out there so she can feel better. I went by there earlier today before I came back to record this, and I'm probably stopped by when I had to go get her some bananas and some stuff from the store, make sure she was straight. So shout out to my moms and everything. And my pop's birthday coming up on the 13th, so shout out to my pops as well. But this next story we're getting into, it pissed me off. It pissed me off. I'm gonna play it and we're gonna run it back and we're gonna talk about it. But it pissed me off. And I don't have a lot of hair on my head, but if I had more hair, I would have ripped that out because it pissed me off. But let's run it.
I'm Elizabeth Milner.
Look, do you want me to give you my apartment number? Are you security? This is insane. If you live here, let yourself in. So you're gonna put me in a chokehold? Doing this. I'm just trying to get you to buzz in to show me you live here. Oh, you are in some shit, man. That's cool. Why couldn't you have just done this downstairs? Here's my apartment. Here's my apartment. Yeah, cool. All right. Why couldn't you just done it downstairs? Are you like security? I asked you to? Why should I show you proof that I live here? Why should I show you proof that I live here? Ask the office. There's really a problem. There's a problem that I came in here. I don't let people in. You can ask the maintenance man. You put me in a chokehold. You put me in a chokehold, man. You're a thief, man. I'm a thief? You're not a thief. I'm sorry. That came out. I didn't mean it.
Oh, hell no was the first thing I thought when I first saw this. Oh, hell no was my first thought. And then I got mad when I thought about it. Well wishes to you and your family as well, Tierra. I thank you very much. Well wishes to you and your family as well. I wish you all the best. Wish you all happiness, wealth, health, all prosperity, all great things come you guys' way. All of my viewers, all of my followers, all of my subscribers. I want all of us to win and to be the greatest versions of ourselves. And remember, it's another reason why we do this content, is to make sure that we're not just making videos. I know for me, because I try to make sure I do what I say. So not just out here making videos, but in the communities that we are living in, doing our best to make the communities better. But I'm scrolling through, I think, Instagram the other day, and I see this video of this young black dude who let, an emphasis on let. And that's the part that really pissed me off. He let this white man put him in a chokehold, trying to check him and police him as he's entering his own apartment building where he paid the goddamn bills. And the white man are like, who are you? Let me see your ID. What apartment you live in? I'm not going to let you upstairs. I'm going to restrain you. Matter of fact, I'm going to put you in the chokehold. And Buddy let him put him in the chokehold. He over there filming. Man, that white dude would have got doomed messing with me. I'm not saying that I'm Billy Badass. I ain't saying that. I'm not a fighter. I know how to fight. I'm not a fighter. I don't look for confrontation. I do my best to avoid confrontation. I like to talk junk. I ain't gonna lie, I like to talk junk, but I do my best to avoid confrontation. I try to think before I act, but I'd be damn. if I'm finna let somebody just put me in a chokehold just because, now that's a problem with me. Yes, 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 Khalif. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, C. Bowman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I hope she feel better as well. Inez is strong, so she gonna do her thing. Yeah. Got to take care of moms. Moms is cool. My mom's is cooler than the mug. She about 5 foot. She a real short little lady. She about 5 feet. And she real cool. She the reason why I like some of the music that I like. She the reason why her and my dad, the reason why I ended up going to FAMU and things like that. Yeah, my mom's cooler than the mug. I call her my DJ because she produced me. A cool old Inez. But I don't like a lot of these younger dudes as far as as far as how we deal with white supremacy, right? Because we shouldn't be dealing with white supremacy in a passive way. We should be tired of being stepped on. As a man, you're not just gonna run up on me and put your hands on me. Once again, I'm not trying to be tough. I'm not trying to be tough. I'm gonna make you laugh before I make you want to fight me. I'm cool with everybody. I make friends with everybody. I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I like to talk junk. I like to talk. I like to crack jokes and stuff. I'm a fun person, but I'd be damn if you're just gonna run up on me and put your hands on me, right? And I've seen a lot of these. I guess this was the video that just really pushed me over the edge, because I've seen a lot of videos like this of young black men who are being approached by either white women or white men, the Karens and the Kens, right? If you from the country, Karen. So, Karen, and that's a male Karen. So I'm gonna say Karen because I like saying Karen rather than Karen. But Karen, the male Karen, is gonna police him as he's entering his own building that he paid rent in. I need to see your ID. I need to know your name. I need to see your apartment number. Oh yeah, and just to show you my dominance over you, because remember, that's the theme of the show, reminding black males who's the dominant man. To reinforce my dominance, I'm gonna put you in the chokehold. Not only am I gonna police you, but I'm gonna put you in the chokehold. Now, remember, going back to what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, that white men already occupy the position of man. So black males have to choose all the other remaining categories, and white men will be damned if they allow black males to occupy the position of man. So whether you are an outright racist, like that stank ass white lady from yesterday, whether you are outright racist or you are one of them liberal racists like Buddy, because he in Seattle, you're still a racist. You're still a person who support the system of white supremacy. And then, hold on, let me run the video. Let me play it again. See what he said at the
I always
end.
appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
What he said at the end? Let me find my spot. Hold on.
If you live here, let yourself in. So you're gonna put me in a choke. Doing this. I'm just trying to get you to buzz in and show me you live here.
Look at this.
Oh, you are in some shit, man. That's cool.
He should have been in some he should have been in some shit. He should have. There's no way you're gonna get into arm's length. You get into arm's length, you're gonna catch a jab. I'm just saying. You're gonna get poked in the eye. You're gonna get karate chop, kicked in the kneecaps, kicked in the nuts, kicked in the stomach, you Sparta kicked or something. You're not finna invade my personal space. Now, I don't know where Buddy from. I don't know where the young dude from. But where I'm from, if you let somebody get up on you, you're not getting up. So you're not getting in my personal space.
Why couldn't you have just done this downstairs?
Here's my
Like I asked you
apartment.
to.
Here's my apartment.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Why couldn't you just done it downstairs
Are you
like I asked you
security?
to?
First of all, why couldn't you just done this downstairs? Hey, I'm dominant over you, young black boy. I am dominant over you, young black boy. So when I approach you and I give you a command, I expect you to do it. And if you defy my command, I put my hands on you, young black boy, because I'm the man. I'm a white man and you a black boy. So you should know your place and stay in your place, young black boy. And if you don't stay in your place, I will reinforce my dominance. That's what he was attempting to do. He just a soft-ass white boy, though. So he was able to do it in a way, but he couldn't fully do it. And then, you know, he a punk-ass white boy, too. So he's not one of them who's gonna do what he do and stand on it. And so when he realized it was on camera, he's like, oh, shoot. Of course, he's nervous, but he's an old punk-ass white boy, right? And so even punk-ass white boys know, hey, I'm going to assert my dominance over these black boys, over these black males. So what that means for us black men, we have to be better and do better. We got to be better men. We got to stand on, like the young folks say, stand on business. We got to stand on business. We have to stop being passive. We have to stop being pushovers. We have to stop being soft. Like they said, we got to drop your nuts. They don't respect. Clear. Poindexter put dude in the choke. That white dude wouldn't dare touch anybody in my neighborhood. That white dude wouldn't dare touch any man in my neighborhood, not even the old men. But Poindexter ran up on dude and was like, hey, you soft. I'm dominant over you. So not only am I going to police you, once again, not only am I going to police you, but I'm gonna put my hands on you and put you in the chokehold. Hey man. That's all I'm saying. Look, straight up. We got to be better. Black men, we have to be better, right? So you see it. You see what Daryl's saying. Daryl ain't lying. Daryl ain't never lied a day in his life. He ain't lying now, right? So that's what I saw when I saw that. That's why that really pissed me off, because I'm like, you really let this dude flex on you like that? You really let this soft-ass white dude flex on? Oh, yeah, I remember why I played it again. I got sidetracked. We got to talking and stuff, but listen to what he says.
Why should I show you proof that I live here? Why should I show you proof that I live here?
Ask the office.
There's
I don't
really
let
a
people
problem.
in.
There's a problem that I came in here.
I don't let people in. You can ask the maintenance
You
man.
put me in a chokehold. You put me in a chokehold, man.
You're a thief, man.
I'm a
You're what he said. He called him a thief. He called him a thief.
I'm sorry, that came out. I didn't mean it.
I see you, punk-ass white boy. If you're gonna call him a thief, stand on it. If you're gonna assert your dominance, stand on it. Don't do your stuff and then run, because now you know you on camera and it's gonna go viral. Because you one of them closeted racists. That's why. You soft and you're a closeted racist. But think about it. If the white boy is soft and he did that to that black dude, how does he view that black dude? And how does he view other black men like him, or even other black men as a whole? If he's soft as hell, but he got the gall to put a black man in a chokehold, how does he view us? That's all I'm saying, right? The fake and pretending will fail, and the wisest strivers and thrivers will survive, and all the lies and manipulations on the truths they're plagued with on one side or the other. So let the show begin. Hallelujah. Let the slideshow begin. Let it begin. Like, black men is right here in our face. This is on us. This is on us. This is us to look in the mirror at ourselves and realize this is the society that we live in, and this is something that we've allowed to happen for far too long. We've been subjugated for far too long. We've been put in our place for far too long. Even our women don't respect us. And I'm not saying black men as a whole. There are some women who don't respect black men as a whole, but I believe that is a minority of black women who are just extra loud. I believe that's a minority, right? But even our women don't respect us. No group of other men respect us. No group of other women really respect us. They know that we are able to tolerate disrespect and abuse. Because remember, resilience is one of black people's superpowers. We got two real superpowers: talking junk and being resilient. Those are two real superpowers: talking junk and being resilient. So, but this happened in Seattle, one of the liberal spots. I bet you he voted Democrat. And the liberals are supposed to be the allies. What Malcolm told you about the liberals? What Malcolm told you about the fake ally? Hell, what we've been telling you about the liberals and the fake allies, me, PC, and Pat. What we've been telling you about the liberals and the fake allies here on these Friday breakdowns. And make sure y'all go back and check out this past Friday's breakdown. Make sure you all check out yesterday's live video by Rodney Hinton Jr. Make sure y'all check all the videos out. Make sure y'all like this video. If you haven't, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Now, I know some of y'all might be driving in your car. You might be doing other things. And when you get a chance, come back and hit that like button for me. Please hit that like button so we can take this thing to the moon. Because I got plans for this platform, but I need your help. So, yeah, foxes and wolves. Khalif, you own it. Foxes and wolves. We know who the wolves are. That's the problem. We know who the wolves are, even though we pretend. We are foxes who be howling at the moon, and everybody like, that ain't no damn wolf howl. But we think, to us, it sounds like a wolf howl because we, talking junk. We think people are afraid of us. We really believe that other groups of people, mainly white people, because we spent more time around white people, we really believe white people are afraid of us. But Poindexter then put young buddy in a chokehold. That young dude, young enough to have scrubbed him up. But yet, he didn't. He took the docile way. He turned the other cheek. I don't know. He better sue. He better sue. I sue, buddy. I sue Poindexter. I sue the apartment complex. I sue the people who made Poindexter glasses. I sue whoever messed up Poindexter's hairline. I sue everything that has to be associated with that white dude, right? Because I know for me, if it was me, I would be deciding, how do I want to handle this situation? Do I want to put my foot knee deep in this white boy, or do I want to sue him and take him for everything and ruin his reputation and everything? So I'd be thinking, like, because I know what I want to do. I think you all already know what I would want to do, because that would be most of our first choice, and that would be going knee deep up in that white boy. Pause. But kicking his ass, rather. Keep your hands to yourself. That's not a hard concept to understand. Keep your damn hands to yourself. But if I don't respect you, why would I keep my hands to myself if I don't respect you? What bully do you know keep their hands off their prey? Answer that question for me. What bully do you know keeps their hands off their prey? until the prey fights back. I'm just saying. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all because that pissed me off. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that story. I didn't like what happened. I didn't like how the black dude handled it. I didn't like none of that. And I want to share it with y'all because I wanted to show and remind that when white people want to remind us of their dominance, they do it. When white people want to remind us who's who and who's on top, they do it. When white people want to remind us that we are not on the same level of them in humanity, they don't see us as human beings, when they still see us as 3/5 of a human, they do it. Whenever they want to remind us, whether it's a stark reminder ending in somebody losing their life or something like this, they do it. They do it. And speaking of white people, want to remind black people who's in charge, who's in control. We're going to go to Mississippi. We're going to a Mississippi man who had some bull happen to him dealing with police officers in Mississippi who shot at him and arrested him and jailed him. And he don't even know what the hell happened. He don't even know why. Let's get into it, though.
Tonight, we're talking about some exclusive NBC News reporting about a man who spent more than 2.5 years in a Mississippi jail waiting for a trial that actually never happened. Sinatra Jordan had been accused of shooting at 2 police officers, setting off an intense car chase through the streets of Jackson in August of 2022. Officers opening fire on the car that Jordan was driving. It ended with Jordan's friend, who was in the passenger seat, getting shot in the head. She had to get multiple surgeries to remove the bullet from her brain. From jail, Jordan told investigators what happened. I want you to listen to the audio of that recording obtained by NBC News.
Them folks started shooting for no reason. So if you ran, you wouldn't know what to do. Somebody just up and get to shooting.
So Jordan's version is very different from what one of the officers involved in the incident said.
You could hear shots real loud at that time because we were going a reduced speed because of the tires, and they slowed down.
But here's the crazy part of it all. The case took this dramatic turn back in December of last year when the officers were each indicted by a grand jury in Jordan's case. Then, on March 11th, Jordan was able to strike a plea deal and walk free. The shooting charges against him were, in fact, dropped. NBC's John Shupe, did I say your name correctly?
You did.
Okay, good. Worked on this exclusive reporting, speaking to Jordan regularly throughout this entire ordeal. You were there the moment that he walked free after spending 2.5 years in jail, no trial, nothing, literally not. I mean, your reporting is so incredible because you talk about how at one point he was asking you for updates, not really even knowing what was going on with his case as he sat behind bars, just kind of waiting.
Well, this is what was so interesting about this. We were looking into several shootings that the Capitol Police were involved in Jackson. Yeah. And this one stuck out because Sinatra Jordan was in jail on the shooting and nothing was happening in his case. So over time, it became not just what happened in the shooting, but why is he in jail for so long?
How did it turn then to the officers? Like that's the key here. So they were going after Sinatra Jordan. They were saying, okay, the way in which you told the story is not true, is not accurate. The officer are telling us that you shot at them. They were chasing you, hence why you're now being incarcerated and awaiting trial. And yet then suddenly on a dime, it turns and the officers are being indicted. Do we know what evidence led to that change?
No, I tried to figure out. I got access to a lot of evidence in the case, and there was nothing explicitly in the evidence that I had that pointed to something explicitly that the officers had done wrong. But when a grand jury deliberates, that's all confidential, sealed, the public can't see it, so we don't know exactly what happened inside the grand jury chambers.
So he's not the only one that's being held in a Mississippi jail for an inordinate amount of time without any trial. There are some kind of rules to all this, though, as well. In Mississippi, you got criminal cases that have to go to trial no later than 270 days after a defendant is indicted and arraigned. But they can basically be held indefinitely if they're waiting for that indictment, right?
Correct. Mississippi is one of only a handful of states in which there's no limit to the amount of time that you can wait between arrest and indictment before that 270-day clock starts ticking. And then, of course, after that clock starts ticking, even though there are, just like any state, speedy trial laws, there's any number of reasons why that clock can be paused and trials can be delayed indefinitely.
Wow. I know that your reporting has had a major impact as well on some policy changes in Mississippi. And I want you to walk us through that, because these officers that were involved in this shooting, they were kind of a part of this task force in the streets of Jackson, Mississippi, right? And since your reporting emerged, I believe it was in 2023, there have been some policy changes in the way in which these officers, this task force, goes about its work.
Right. When this task force started working in Jackson, it was a big change for them.
Yeah.
They hadn't gotten basic equipment, body cameras, dashboard cameras, and also had outdated policies to reflect modern police standards, including how and when you can use deadly force. And so after we started reporting on these shootings in 2023, the policies were changed and updated.
How's he doing right now? How's Jordan doing?
I think he's slowly getting used to regular life. He's now got some charges on his record as a result of the plea deal.
Yeah.
He's got to find a job, get an ID, all these very basic
parole.
things.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be hard for him to get.
Prohibitive for a lot of folks when you're on parole, what you do with your life. John Chupi, really important stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on.
So, Sinatra Jordan is out riding with a friend, a female friend. They're out riding, according to him, they're out riding, minding their business. Then the police get behind them and start shooting at them. There's a chase. They're caught by the police, jailed. Sinatra Jordan's friend, the female, was shot in the head. Spent 2 years in jail. Case dismissed. Nobody telling them anything. Nobody telling them anything. That's crazy. So I got an article. We're gonna get a little more details on it. But you know what, Shabazz? You like the second or third person to tell me that about Cashapp, about being blocked on Cashapp. Yeah, I think Cashapp might be hating. I really do believe, because you like the second or third person told me that. Email me, Shabazz. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. Let me put my email in the chat. Email me, my brother, so we can talk more about that. We got to get that straightened out. Oh, yeah. I appreciate that, William. I mean, but you know, the system is what it is. The system is going to, well, the people who maintain the system are going to do what they need to do to remain dominant. And even if it means taking the life of Black people or anybody who's standing in their way, right? Or ruining the life, just like in this case with Sinatra Jordan, right? So it's been 940 days and he wasn't going to linger. That's how this article started. Sinatra Jordan, who's 32, was dressed in the same blue t-shirt and dark denim shorts he'd been wearing when he was brought to the jail on August 15th, 2022. Accused of starting a car chase and firing at police, Jordan insisted that he did not have a weapon, and there hasn't been any evidence to prove that he had a weapon. He said that the officers had shot into the car without provocation, a bullet striking his friend in the passenger seat, and a mother of 5 who was left seriously injured. So the woman who was struck was a mother of 5. As months passed with no trial, no hearing, no updates, and rare interactions with his lawyers, there were many times along and despairing in jail when he wondered if anyone was listening. Because now we're talking about the reinforcement of their dominance in the more systematic way. Because it's like either either Sinatra Jordan was just some random person that they decided to pick off, or they picked him for some other reasons because of things that he'd done that they were unhappy with. But either way, they decided to ruin this man's life. Either way, they decided to ruin this man's day, his life, and try to lock him up. They tried to take his life. They tried to take his life, and when they couldn't take his life, they tried to make sure that he could never see the light of day again by getting locked up, right? The only way another devil or bootlicking supporters of the devils and fools of this earth can ride you, if you keep bending over as to make it extremely, extremely exactly. That's why we got to stop being soft and stop allowing them to step on us. Because at this point, we're allowing them to step on us. So you're exactly right about that, William. That we're allowing them to step on us. Then in an extraordinary term, so they're saying after 2 years of sitting in jail, a turn happened when the blame have shifted from Sinatra Jordan to the officers, right? And then the case against Jordan was dropped. Now he was free. And the lawyer or supporters of Sinatra Jordan is saying, I was there to greet him on the evening of March 11th, and I hope to understand what exactly had happened the night of the shooting and why he had languished behind the bars for so long, right? I'd spent years reporting on a string of shootings by the Mississippi Capitol Police, including this one. The force had mostly provided security for government buildings until 3 summers ago when the governor deployed officers to the streets of Jackson to tamp down crime. Jordan and I had communicated regularly, first by letter, then by phone, as he had waited for a trial that never came. He often asked me for news about his case, which I was unable to provide. I just wanted to go home, he'd tell me. So basically, he is not getting any information on what's going on with him. No why, no when, no where, no how. And he's resulting to having to question a news reporter about what's going on with him, as if the news reporter has the information that he needs. And if the news reporter does have information that he needs and nobody else is telling him anything, it's a specific reason why they're choosing to put this man in this position. One opinion was to admit guilt and hope for an early release. Jordan would not. He insisted the police had lied, but without proof. It was his words against theirs. Even after the officers were arrested and accused of unlawfully firing on Jordan's car, which they denied, the evidence against them remained a secret to Jordan and his lawyers, right? The investigative file, which I obtained after Jordan's case was resolved, included hundreds of pages of notes, recordings of interviews, detailed evidence, and witness information. It was a rare look inside the mechanisms of a criminal case. It's a rare look inside the mechanisms of a criminal enterprise, if you ask me. No information, no evidence. Where's the gun? If Sinatra Jordan was shooting at officers, where's the gun? Where are the bullet casings? Where are they? Were any cop cars hit? Are there any bullets in any cop cars? Because there's ways to prove that somebody had a gun and fired a gun. We know that. We know that by now. We know enough about guns and forensics and stuff to know that we can tell if somebody has actually discharged a gun. So where's that information? And so this 2 years of this man's life just taken away from him just because a couple punk ass police officers felt like doing some bullshit. Right? And so once again, that made me think, like, did they have a vendetta out on him? Or was it just something was it some initiation thing for them and the white supremacist police groups that they may be a part of? Because of course, this is white supremacy stuff. Why wouldn't it be white supremacy? You just pick random black man and shoot at him. First they tried to take him out. Let's not overshadow that. They initially tried to take him out. almost took his friend out. Initially tried to take him out, physically take him out with a gun. And then that resulted to having him locked up because, like the report said, they were hoping that he would be something that would be forgotten and just thrown away. And jailed, forgotten and just thrown away. And by the time they come back to it, it's too late. That's what I do believe. I do agree with the reporter. That's one of the motives that they had. But it all flipped on them, and the whole case was just thrown out. And I'm not sure what's happening with the police officers. Let's see what he's saying. Oh, messy. Everybody out here in the YouTube streets ain't real. Now, pick up in the article, it says, but there was no gotcha. As it turned out, Jordan's ordeal was the result of an opaque and overburdened criminal justice system where judges, prosecutors, investigators, and court-appointed defense lawyers are struggling to keep pace with the tide of cases, perpetuating delays, and forced defendants to wait for years for their day in court and postpone justice for victims. I mean, he should have never been jailed. Should have never been in there. What were the charges? What were the claims? Okay, you say he shot at the police officers. Where is the gun? Where's the gun? Because it's never been found, right? Jordan says, I'm stressful, not knowing where you're coming home, not knowing where you'll be able to see the judge. I attended his final court appearance and then waited for Jordan outside the jail. He emerged holding an armload of court papers, still wearing his jail suit and slides. I told him it was nice to meet him in person. Jordan grinned hesitantly as if he weren't quite sure this was real. Yes, sir, he replied. It's been a long time. The night of August 14, 2022 began with a casual drive, according to Jordan telling. He and a friend, Sharita Harris, so that's the friend who was shot in the head, Sharita Harris, were cruising downtown Jackson with no goal other than to relax. So according to Sinatra Jordan, him and his homegirl were just out cruising, chilling, doing their thing, ain't bothering nobody. Harris had rented the car, a Nissan Rogue with Arizona plates. After hers was damaged, Jordan was driving even though he had suspended license. So shouldn't have been driving with a suspended license, but that doesn't warrant a shootout. I've seen plenty videos, plenty cop cam videos of all types of people, black and white people, who were driving with suspended licenses and were able to be let go free depending on their behavior, right? He grown up in a nearby working class neighborhood, the only son of a single mother. Jordan graduated from high school and studied business at a community college with dreams of starting an aftercare program for school children, he said. But he couldn't balance school and work, so he dropped out and took service industry jobs. Wendy's, McDonald's, Home Goods. He lived with his mother in the house where he was raised. Jordan and Harris had known each other for years, but only recently began hanging out. She was 38 and had just started a job managing a charter school cafeteria. As they drove down the street that evening, an unmarked cop car pulled up behind them and flashed its lights. The Capitol Police officers inside were members of a new street crimes unit focused on intercepting guns, drugs, and stolen cars. They had no body or dash cam cameras in their policies. And so their policies were outdated as well. No dashboard cameras, no body cameras, no evidence, no nothing. So I believe this sounds like some kind of gang initiation. That's what it sounds like, some kind of gang initiation, right? As he moved into the right lane, Jordan said the police suddenly opened fire. No warning. According to Jordan, no warning, no thing. They pull up behind them. As he pulled into the right lane, they just start firing at them. That sounds like gang initiation to me. I don't know about you all, white supremacy gang initiation for them specifically, but I know that sounds like gang initiation. He looked over at Harris, who was slumped over and covered in blood. She'd been struck in the head, panicked that he too would be shot. He said he drove off to get to safety. Jordan made his way to his neighborhood about a mile northwest. I was just confused and didn't know what to do, he said. I mean, if a bus of people pull up behind you in an unmarked car and just start busting, what would you do? In an unmarked car, did they put their lights on? Did they put the sirens on? If you pull up in an unmarked car and just start busting on somebody, how the hell are they supposed to know you the police? Because that's not what the police do. Or is that what the police do and we're just mistaken because we're in the matrix? Yes, Ronnie. Yes, Ronnie. Law enforcement are a part of the reinforcement of the white dominance. They are an arm of the reinforcement of the white dominance because they have to remind us who's in control and who has the power, because at any time, any point in time, they can take away our freedom if they choose to. They've been doing this to black men forever. Remember the chain gangs in the early 1900s. Remember the vagrancy laws and the loitering laws and all these crazy ass laws that were put in to remind black men that at any point in time, we can snatch your freedom from you. At any point in time, we can make you bend on your knees and praise us and worship us as your masters. At any point in time, we can ruin your life. At any point in time, we can reinforce our white supremacy. At any point in time. But in the refinement of white supremacy, it's not going to be as blatant as it was. The Klan not just going to ride up on you. Now, depending on where you are, but for the most part, the Klan not just going to ride up on you and just start busting. They're going to systematically ruin us, just like they're doing with Sinatra. Guess they didn't like his name, or I don't know. He pulled over at Lamar and Adele Streets, then got out and ran. Of course, somebody busting at him and he don't know who it is. He didn't get far before he was arrested. Harris said she remembers Julian telling her police lights were flashing behind them, but nothing more. Okay, so police lights were flashing. So police lights are flashing. Let's say he pulling over to the next lane. I'm assuming to stop, and then they start busting. Both were taken to a hospital. Jordan was treated for cuts on his head and sent to Raymond Detention Center in jail. He asked how Harris was doing. According to a recording obtained by NBC News, an investigator told him Harris was in surgery. I hope she's all right, he said, his voice crackling. Yeah. Do you remember Shabazz? Me, Pat, and PC did a breakdown like a year and a half ago about the Goon Squad. I can't remember what state, but I just heard a story about them. They got charged, but it was a Goon Squad of 6 white cops who went around beating up on black people and harassing and terrorizing black people. It's funny you say Goon Squad because there was actually a group of like those 6 cops who called themselves the Goon Squad who went beating up black folk. Yeah. 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 Yes. So the officers Jerry Walker and Michael Rainwalk gave a very different version. So this is what the white supremacist race soldiers are telling us. The pair told investigators that they had pulled the rogue over for running a red light, and when Rainwalk started to get out of the patrol car, the driver took off. As they chased but see, the problem is where the hell is your dash cam? Where's your body cam? It's 2025 and you don't have either dash or body cam on your person. Why? It's very convenient that you don't have your cameras on you. As they chased the car until the interstate, I heard what appeared to be a gunshot and a muzzled flash and noticed the back window shattered. So I immediately leaned over. Rainwalk told investigators, according to recordings from the case file, I immediately returned fire. You started the fire. Walker said the SUV slowed down at one point in the chase and someone inside fired again. You could hear shots real loud at that time, he said. Both officers shot at the road. Moments later, the officer said they saw objects tossed from the car, but no video footage. Jordan eventually pulled over and took off running, and Walker opened fire again, later telling investigators he thought a black object in Jordan's hand was a gun, it turned out to be a cell phone. But you still have, what about the guns that you claim was fired at you? The investigation into the shooting happened on 2 tracks. In one, the Hinds County District Attorney Office gathered evidence to prosecute Jordan. Walker testified at Jordan's preliminary hearing, telling a judge that a neighborhood witness confirmed that bags of dope and guns were thrown from the road and that three armed men took them. Is there any evidence? The judge ruled the case against Jordan could proceed. He already had 2 unresolved felony charges stemming from a 2020 arrest when police say he stored stolen motorcycles at his mother's house. State law prohibits bail for someone facing felony charges from an early arrest. That meant he would wait in jail while the case moved forward. The second track was run by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, or the MBI, which is required to examine police shootings, and the state attorney general's office, which determines whether the shootings are justified. All right. In interviews with MBI investigators during the first days in jail, Jordan at first seemed confused about the chase and how long he'd been locked up. He gave muddled or inconsistent recollections, including where he drove and whether he'd thrown anything out of the window, according to a review of the audio interviews and the statements, but still no visuals. Jordan sounded exhausted and on edge, but also eager to tell his side. Even without a lawyer, he remained consistent on one point: he never had a gun. During an interrogation, MBI Lieutenant Heath Farish repeatedly suggested Jordan had a weapon. At one point, he told Jordan that a witness had seen him toss a firearm from the car in an apartment in an apparent attempt to get him to confess to a weapon. Fair could not be reached for a comment, right? So it's like they tried to intimidate him into saying that he had a weapon, or convince him. I'm going to convince you had a weapon. The only non-police witness interviewed by MBI was told another investigator that he did not see a gun, according to the case file. Farish also threatened to use DNA to tie Jordan to a gun found at the scene. Evidence logs show that investigators found only a starter pistol, a type of firearm that fires blanks and is usually used to signal the start of a race. Investigators never determined its relevance to the case. Man, we can do whatever we got to do, Jordan told Farish, and I guarantee you, when all this is over with, all y'all are going to say, damn, Mr. Jordan did not have a gun on him that night. MBI investigators, 2 months after speaking to Jordan, interviewed Rainwalt and Walker. Each had lawyers with them. These sessions were shorter, non-confrontational, and consistent. The MBI additionally collected bullet fragments inside the robe and spent shell casings on the street. Okay. So this is new. So the MBI additionally collected bullet fragments inside the rogue and spent shell casings on the street. They found surveillance video and looked for the objects and officers he said were tossed out of the rogue, but did not find them. In November 2022, the MBI said the case file was ready for the Attorney General's office to review. So I guess, so you can't see this, but this is a video of, I'm gonna try to find this and add this, but I'm looking at a video of them chasing Jordan. He came around the corner, came to a stop. He got out of his car and ran. So I can see police lights. And he got out of the car and ran. And they're saying they found shell casings. The future of trading is here on Robinhood Legend. So they're saying they found shell casings in the rogue. Let me go back to talk about a starter pistol. Yes, the NBA additionally collected bullet fragments inside the rogue, and that could be from the police shooting inside the rogue, and spent shell casings on the street. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Jordan was shooting. Whose bullet fragments and shell casings are they? So In November 2022, the NBA said the case files were ready for the Attorney General's office to review. A decision didn't come for another 2 years. In Mississippi, criminal cases must go on trial no later than 270 days, about 9 months after a defendant is indicted and arraigned. But there is no limit on how long someone can wait to be indicted. In some parts of the state, including Hinds County, there aren't enough judges or prosecutors to keep up with cases, and there is still a pandemic backlog. Overwhelmed and underpaid public defenders do not have enough time to properly represent all of their clients who tend to be of limited means. So if you ain't got no money, you in Hinds, you in Mississippi, you ain't got no money, you out of luck. Rodney says they use these informers to tell lies for them cops. Straight up. Where's prove everything you saying, informants? All you lying for, all you witnesses, prove what you're saying. Where's the proof? Where your proof at? Where your proof at? I'm gonna be like that annoying person. Where your proof? Where your proof? Show me your proof. Give me your proof. I need proof. Where the proof at? Give me the proof. You ain't got no proof. Come on, man. Everybody out here lying. Where your proof at? I seen Jordan. I seen Sinatra Jordan throw a gun and some drugs out the car. Where they at? Where they at? PC, what it is, man. What it is, PC. You see that here lying. That here lying on the black man named Sinatra, PC. That here lying on the mug, man. Oh yeah, we hey man, and I appreciate you and Pat for contributing to us getting to that 70K. I couldn't have got to that 70K without you. So I appreciate everything that you have been contributing to this platform since the beginning. You were real when you my brother. I love you and appreciate you, man. So yeah. In early 2022, researchers at the MacArthur Justice Center, a nonprofit that advocates for those caught up in the criminal justice system, reported that more than 700 people were held in Mississippi jails more than a year, including 96 in Hinds County. Jordan joined that group. He was arraigned in 2023 and pleaded not guilty. A couple of months later, his court appointed a public defender, asked the judge for copies of the evidence against him for a speedy trial. Then nothing much happened. A new public defender took over Jordan's case late in 2023, but made no motions on Jordan's behalf until August of 2024, when he asked the judge to delay the trial because all the evidence they had not been turned over by the district attorney's office. The judge agreed. This is it says this is something in some raggedy handwriting. It says August 7, 2023. On August 14, 2022, in between the time of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., I was riding on State St. Mary. My friend girl and I was heading to Chemistry. Chemistry is a bar and grill. A club had a light crowd. We pulled in and pulled right back out due to lack of people being there. While driving, it was one car in traffic as well. The street had 3 lanes, a left turn, and 2 lanes that kept straight. I was in the middle lane, and the car behind me made the left. While making the left on Pearl Street, a state capitol police had just got off the interstate. He made the right off into traffic. He was in the right lane, then merged into the middle lane after the previous car made the left. At this point, State Capitol Police was behind my vehicle. The light was still green. They turned on the lights. I had my friend and I said, the police are behind us. That's all and I'm reading from my handwritten note from Sinatra Jordan. It says, I believe that was New York, California, but going to hell squarely here are the goons. Yeah. And PC, you on what state was that? Remember when we did the breakdown about the goon squad? What state was that? What's going on, Tony? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. They did the test Did they test either of them for gunshot residue? They don't. It's not saying. It's not saying. It's not saying. Also, did they test inside? Well, they're saying they found bullet fragments inside the vehicles. And so far, they're saying bullet fragments inside the vehicle and shell casings outside the vehicle. So, but only bullet fragments inside the vehicle. But are they bullet fragments from the police shooting into the vehicle? Because remember, the vehicle was struck and a passenger in the vehicle was struck. So was it bullet fragments from the police or bullet fragments from the alleged gun that Sinatra Jordan had? So I don't know. And Tony, you a real one. I thank you for joining the OTSOG family. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you because I'm working my way to get to this 100,000 mark. I'm a rearrange all my background. I'm gonna rearrange all this coming soon. Put me a bookshelf in the space for my YouTube 100K plaque. I'm already planning for my plaque because I'm gonna get my plaque. All right. And PC, you say you believe it was in Illinois, but you'll remember us talk about that goon squad though. Them punk ass cops who went around with them gang initiation style stuff. That's what this sounds like. In early 2023, I wrote to Jordan asking for his perspective on the shooting. He sent back a handwritten note, and that's what I just read from, right? He started calling me on the jail phone line through an account paid for by NBC News. We spoke every few weeks, short conversations that often covered the same ground. I asked for what was new in his case. He said he didn't know. He'd say how badly he wanted to go home. And remember, Sinatra Jordan is asking this reporter for information about his case. So Harris is maintaining that he is not a criminal. I'm trying to fast forward to the final results. It says on December 26th, Ringwald and Walker were each indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts of aggravated assault, one of shooting Harris, one of shooting at Jordan. The indictment didn't provide many details beyond accusing them of wrongfully firing on Harris and Jordan. The officers pled not guilty, but they were indicted though. They were indicted. So like I said, when I read it in the beginning, the focus shift or the blame or the guilt shift from Sinatra Jordan and his friend to the officers. But I don't believe. So it says, so the officers were arrested. They were arrested. But what eventually came out of it? Let me see. Sinatra Jordan eventually got out, but I'm trying to see what happened to the officers. It says the officers' lawyers have argued in the court filings that some of the inconclusive evidence in Jordan's case, gunshot residue tests performed by investigators and damage of the hood of their police car suggests someone fired a gun from a road. So yeah, it's a lot of lying going on up in here. It's a lot of lying ass people going on up in here. And they trying to cover up an attempted murder. That's what it sounds like. These officers were trying to these officers and everybody working with them were trying to systematically cover up an attempted murder. That's what that sounds like to me. And it blew up in their face. And Sinatra Jordan didn't fold. He wasn't somebody who was like, well, I'm going to just take what y'all telling me. He didn't allow the fear to overtake him. He stood up. He stood 10 toes down. And it took 2 years, but he gained his freedom. He lost a lot, but he regained his freedom. What eventually is going to happen to these officers, Like I said, they were indicted and charged with violating civil rights of the driver. And I guess they're going to trial. So, but yeah, that's wild. That's wild. They're gonna do what they gotta do to reinforce their dominance, though. That's the theme of the video. White folk doing what they gotta do to reinforce their dominance. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me, please. Please hit that like button. If you haven't already, if you've just came into the live, please hit that like button. Thank you to everybody who tapped in on this Mother's Day, on this Sunday. I know you got the NBA game going on right now, but you're watching me, so I appreciate you. That means we got something valuable going on over here if you choose this over the NBA and all this other stuff there, right? But 3 stories. The first is Smokey Robinson being accused of sexual assault by 4 women, and they're saying he sexually assaulted him multiple times. The next is a black male in Seattle was choked out by a punk-ass white boy in the elevator trying to police him and tell him where he can and can't go in the building the way he pay rent. And this last story is Sinatra Jordan and his friend, Miss Harris, are just minding their business, and police officers jump behind them, turn their lights on, start busting at them, trying to take them out, and then try to flip the script as if their life was in danger and they were shooting at him to protect themselves and others. Like, once again, that sounds like some kind of gang initiation stuff to me. If it don't to you, I don't know why, but it sounds like it to me. I done been around a lot of gang stuff. I done seen a lot of gang stuff. I know about it, and that sounds like some gang initiation to me. Sound like that Goon Squad stuff. Melanated, I appreciate you. I thank you for tuning in. PC, man, you already know what it is. Appreciate you tuning in. Hey, I got some for us for the breakdown too. One of our subscribers sent me a video for us to break down. So Tony Africa, I appreciate you. William Blackson, I appreciate you. Ronnie Thomas, Shabazz, American Freedman, I appreciate you. William Blackson, Khalif, I appreciate you. Daryl K, Legally Bomb, Anika Corbett, C. Bowman, Tierra Walker, Vaughn Gaines, Lee Clinton. I appreciate all of you for tuning in on this good Sunday, on this good live, on this good Sunday. This is my second live in about 2 years. I haven't went live in about 2 years, and I'm back. And we're finna take off on these lives because, like I said, I just want to do something new and incorporate something new. But I like this. This is fun, and I got this Negro news, so we can talk about what's going on in our community and get these breakdowns, break the stuff down, and go deep into this. And you know, y'all in these comment sections, remember to drop them comments so we can have these lively discussions. Hit that like button. I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about to go ahead and get back to chilling so I'm finna shoot back to mom's house and see what she got going on and mess with her for a little bit before I call it. I have to get ready for work tomorrow. And soon, I won't have to say that no more. Soon, I won't have to say getting ready for work tomorrow because, hey, I'm at work right now, right? Doing what I want to do. But I'm about to wrap it up, man. Y'all have a beautiful Sunday. It's rainy here, but it's all good. Still a beautiful day. You need the rain. The rain helps stuff grow. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. Please remember to not just support me, but support PC, support Pat, support everything. And I got some more stuff coming up for you all, some interviews and all types of stuff. And make sure y'all support my man Tony, Asoda 7. Go to www.asoda7.com to check out the documentary that Pat and I are in the at the Pan-African Connection bookstore. The documentary, make sure you check that out. Go to www.asoda7.com to check that out to support Tony. Support PC. Go to fetlifestation.com to support PC in this podcast every Friday at 2 p.m. Make sure you check it out. fetlifestation.com. Make sure you go to thepax.org to support PAX Inc. that's built by Patrick Irvin. Make sure you do that. Make sure you go to www.ontheshoulders1.com to support what we got going on here. And shout out to my man Henry Rawls. I'm gonna have you on here real soon. We're going live together, Henry. We're going live real soon. And y'all know how we do. We're gonna keep pushing forward. You can't stop what is destined. You can't stop purpose. You can't stop purpose. And what we do over here is purposeful. I love you all. Most important, make sure you love yourselves. And let's make sure that we continue to be the best versions of ourselves. Stay black, be black, think black, and be great while being black. Love y'all. Peace out.